Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Phoenix and this is the Consumer's Guide to Filmmaking. Baby Reindeer, 2024, Richard Gadd. This series follows a man known as Donnie Dunn, a pseudonym for writer and creator Richard Gadd. Working at a bar while struggling to get his comedy career off the ground, a woman named Martha walks in and asks for a cup of tea. Unable to pay for it, Donnie gives it to her on the house. From one simple decision leads a spiraling, chaotic landslide of events that will forever alter the course of Donnie's life. It took me a while to get through this one, but unlike The Curse, this was because this show's power level was just way too high for me. After 2 episodes, I had to take a break to process it all. But when I finally got back, I just marathoned this show out because it absolutely enthralled me and wowed me. Just a fucking phenomenal miniseries. The absolute steel fucking balls on Richard Gadd. For those unaware, and as I alluded to just now, Donnie Dunn is Richard Gadd. This show is about Gadd and the actual experiences he had with a stalker. But this isn't just about his experience with a stalker. This series is a vulnerable, cathartic, and self-reflective piece. Most importantly, it reflects on self-loathing. As Gadd put it so eloquently in the show, I loved hating myself more than I loved her. This self-loathing stems from the fact that Gadd was raped. This feeling that you will be looked at as less than because you were taken advantage of plagued him for years. He sought solace in all the wrong places, including Martha, and it negatively impacted his relationships for years. As someone who deals with self-loathing a little, I found I sympathized with Gadd quite a bit. You get trapped in a cycle of shitty decisions, and instead of facing up to the demons that plague you, you just make more shitty decisions. You find ways to blame others, you find ways to drown your sorrows. Gadd has stated that he has a history of addiction problems, and with the shit he's gone through, it makes a lot of sense. Drugs and booze are an easy way to numb that pain, that trauma. At the end of the show, Dunn, aka Gadd, after having confronted his abuser, retreats back into listening to the voicemails from Martha he compiled. The last one he probably ever listened to was the one explaining that Gadd reminded her of a reindeer plushie she had when she was a kid. At a bar, Gadd forgets his wallet and is unable to pay for a drink, and when the bartender gives it to him on the house, it all clicked for him. Martha saw the comfort and security of that reindeer plushie in him. A man that would offer her a simple act of kindness, one that she probably hadn't experienced in God knows how long. He, like Martha, wanted to feel that comfort, and in a sick way, they understood each other. On a purely nuts and bolts level, Gadd is a great writer. His pacing for this story is unbelievably tight. 7 episodes, most of them a half-hour long, barely cracking 45 minutes. He crams so much into a single episode, and he always gets you excited. Plus, he does the one thing that I always praise writers for, and that is that he makes narration not obnoxious. Considering it is his story, it feels like I am just simply listening to him tell it. And he is definitely an interesting speaker. He gives the narration a very casual yet thoughtful bent, and it fits the tone of the show really well. Now let's move on to the performances. One cannot say it enough, honestly, but Richard Gadd has gargantuan fucking balls. Portraying himself, essentially, and having to relive some of the most fucked up shit possible. He was able to convincingly and powerfully make us understand what he went through. He left no stone unturned, and even in his most unseemly of moments, he was brave enough to show us him, warts and all. Then we have Jessica Gunning as Martha. This woman was scary good in this role. She was fucking tweaking in every scene, and her jubilant delivery was just so off-putting. She could then turn all of that into a fucking caustic, unhinged rage so quickly, and that scene in the restaurant was absolutely wild for it. In a supporting role, we have Nava Mao as Terry, and I definitely fell for this girl's personality quick. There was so much sass and confidence in her performance, and her interactions with Gad are a testament to both her and the writing. The two had such a beautiful chemistry, and the romance felt so natural and dynamic. Her dialogue was incredibly sharp and thoughtful, and that subtle and thoughtful examination of how Gad's fucked sense of self affected a trans woman still struggling with her identity was absolutely incredible. On top of that, this was a tightly made piece of filmmaking. Visually interesting, every scene is blocked to incorporate some fluid camera work. The angles used were quite sharp, and it really aided in that sense of paranoia at times. The editing was tight, and it cut to the right reactions at the right times, incorporating slow motion to really zero in on how someone is feeling at a particular moment. Near the end, there were moments where the background would get super dark, but Gad would be highlighted, accentuating that feeling that he describes as the whole world stopping when he is caught in a lie. The music is another big element of the show. The original score is eclectic, being very light and percussive at some points, and even incorporating choir vocals at times. It revels in that tension-filled atmosphere. Then the soundtrack, it's just like 70s soft rock. But one of my favorite pulls in the entire show is the Bee Gees song I Started a Joke. Before they were disco sensations, the Bee Gees were writing songs like that. And for the moments before he went on stage and delivered that brilliant fucking monologue, the song was used perfectly. Incredibly powerful stuff. So yeah, Baby Reindeer is absolutely phenomenal. Watching a man bare his soul to the world unflinchingly, equal parts funny and equal parts soul-crushing, was inspiring. A combination of great direction, Gad's uncompromising writing, and a set of brilliant performances from Gad, Gunning, and Mao. Definitely believe the hype with this one. Like, watch this show. And you know what it is. 10 out of 10. Catch you later, guys.